Hi, my name is David, and I'm going to be talking about hoarding. The reason I'm talking about this is because there is a hoarder on the corner of my block. I live in Flatlands, and if you are familiar with the area, you know what I'm talking about. There is a person that lives on the corner that he's an older gentleman. His house is overflowing with stuff. The building is basically collapsing. Um, he has cars, he has a trailer all filled with his stuff. He doesn't even live in the house. He um he lives in the trailer. Um I'm going to link a news report about the hoarder. Um and you'll be able to see what it actually looks like. The news report was from, I think it was a few years ago, but it's still, it basically looks the same. It's the exact same. Um, Now let me start with the definition of hoarding according to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America. Um, the the what's it, ADAA defines hoarding as a persistent difficulty discarding or parting with possessions, regardless of their actual value. Um, the behavior usually has delir- dele- I'm sorry, deleterious effects: emotional, physical, social, financial, and even legal for a hoarder and family members. Basically, you find it extremely difficult to throw things out. um, that is definitely true for him. If you have already seen the news report that I'm going to link, um, it's pretty obvious he has a little trouble getting rid of things. Um, I believe the news report also says he's been accused of hoarding squirrels. Honestly, when I saw the news report, that was the first I heard of it. Um, he has been doing it for years, for longer than I've actually lived in this neighborhood. Um, so, um, Leading into the main topic, which is homelessness. Many hoarders get kicked out of their homes because it's condemned or something like that. They end up on the street because a lot of the times they don't have family or friends to go to. Um, and it's kind of concerning because these people have a psychological, I don't want to call it a disorder, but it's a condition that they probably need help for. And I have met the hoarder. He's actually a very nice person. So it's kind of concerning um, that there's a well, his house has been condemned, which is but he doesn't care. He doesn't even live in the house anyway. He lives in the trailer that he owns. But the trailer, like on the outside, is covered in stuff. Um, I believe he's also a veteran too. I'm not entirely sure about that. Um, but overall, he's a really nice person, and it would be a shame to see him put out on the street, especially considering he's an older gentleman. Um, but a lot of hoarders, that happens. People like sue them because all their stuff is flowing out into the street. Um, I believe a lawsuit has been called upon for this man, but nothing really happened. So, sorry. Um, but aside from that, Hoarding is definitely, I would consider, a psychological condition. Because sometimes it happens, or it starts after something traumatic. Sometimes it just gets triggered. A lot of the time, the these people believe that the item that they don't want to get rid of has some type of value to them, or will have some type of value in the future, which is why they don't like throwing things out. According to the International OCD Foundation, 1 in 4 people with OCD also have compulsive hoarding. So that is definitely a link there. It could have something to do with a form of OCD that they have. Maybe they find comfort in their things. Um, but either way, it's diminishing their quality of life. They All this stuff is building up. Maybe they have a bunch of newspapers or magazines or something. They have a bunch of food lying around. Maybe they just don't want to throw it out because they think it'll be useful someday. Um, it like maybe the food starts rotting, the paper starts rotting, everything's gonna start rotting. All the stuff kind of builds up. It becomes harder to walk. It's not good for someone to live like that. It's not healthy. Um, for things to build up like that, it's not okay. Especially considering he doesn't really have family or friends to go to for help. Um, I believe the news article or the news report said that he has some family in the government, which is why nothing's really getting done. Um, but it this man needs help. Um, it's important for someone to get help for a situation like this. You'll see in the video, it's not, it's just not acceptable for somebody to live like that. Sometimes hoarding is linked to once being homeless, and then you finally get a place for yourself. You're settled in a nice home or apartment, and you just don't want to be in the situation you were before again. So they take comfort in their things. Um, there's an article by The Atlantic from January 2015 by Leah Sottile, Sottile. Look it up. Um, and it talks about a woman named Sarah Wolf. She has a 9-year-old son. She was once homeless, and now she lives in an apartment with her son. She she says, "When I get off the elevator up here, I panic. Is there a note saying you're evicted? You can't live here anymore? I have that panic every time I leave the apartment." Um, which is, it says here she rarely leaves the apartment, and which is why she also has so many things. She calls it crap. She has so much crap in her apartment. She has like a narrow walkway in order to move throughout. Um, which it's kind of sad. It's not okay, especially if you have a son that young, 9 years old. He's surrounded by your stuff, old garbage. It's not healthy for a child to be living in a situation like that. Um, I guess what I'm getting to is if you know anybody that is hoarding or are showing signs that they're hoarding. Um, if it's family or friends, maybe try and get them some help or something so that they don't have to live like that anymore in a situation like that where it's not where it's reducing their quality of life, where they could possibly end up on the street because they have so much stuff and they get evicted or their house gets condemned. Um, just if you know somebody like that, get them help. Once again, my name is David. I should be posting a interview with most likely my parents about the hoarder um, pretty soon. So look forward to that. My name is David, and that is my video on homelessness and hoarding.